WZ HD3, or listen on the World Wide Web at WRDT560.com.
The materials and information provided are for informational purposes only and are not intended for use as diagnosis, prevention, or treatment of a health or other problem, or as a substitute for consulting a licensed medical professional. Some concepts presented herein may be theoretical and have little or no scientific substantiation. Users are advised to conduct their own diligence.
Welcome to Ask the Experts, where you'll learn about a variety of life-enhancing subjects. Today we delve into holistic healing and whole food nutrition with the Natural Health Authority, Jason Eagle of Strategic Healing. And now here's Jason.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Jason Eagle, your Natural Health Authority, with another show today. And my name is Jason Eagle. I am what's called a Quantum Reflex Analysis practitioner. My company is Strategic Healing. You can go to my website, strategichealing.us. Right now, I am on Facebook Live. My Facebook page is Strategic Healing. And later, I put these shows on because you can't rewind radio, but you can rewind YouTube. I put it on my YouTube channel, which is Jason Eagle QRA. That's a QRA. And I am a person who's a natural health practitioner. I help people to treat their life, their conditions, their health conditions, whether they are already in bad health or they're in good health and they want to maintain it, or they want to get better health and they even want to get to the point where, can I even reverse this aging process? Can I get more than what I thought I had? Yes, all of this is possible. That's what I do, and I do it through natural means with using whole food supplements, whole food diets, exercises, movement therapies, detox therapies, all these different types of things that are all different ways at holistically. Holistic means that's a whole, which is, and including also psycho-emotional stuff. So that means that's what you think, that would be your emotions, that would be your dreams, all of these things. They all matter. You matter. And when I say whatever matters, that's the root word of material, and that's the root word of materialization, which is, we've heard of materialization, which is in Star Trek. That's what that thing is that what they call the replicator or the materializer, which is you press the button and then out comes that food from thin air. It materializes. That's the thing, is that what you believe, what you think, what you fear, what you love materializes. And it becomes from again, an idea, let's say art or something like that. A person has an idea and then, that's where it is. It's in their head, it's in their mind. And then they work about whether it be sculpting it or painting it or working towards or carving it. And then it materializes. Then it becomes the material. It becomes the thing. So you have not because you ask not. You have not because you believe not. So can you change your beliefs? Can you change your behaviors? And again, people say, well, how do I know I believe something? Well, you act on it. Right? You act on it. So what we believe, that you then put your money where your mouth is, which is what you buy, but also what you buy with your time, what you buy with your behaviors. Some people can say, I really want to change my life. But then they go about and what their life is what they do. And then they go out and they do the other thing. And again, you accomplish what you plan on accomplishing. And so many times when people are working on their health and things like that, let's say a person starts with a diet, which is they start with, let's say, reading a book or hearing about an idea, and then they try it, and then, it works for a little while, or then they just give up and they don't do it. Well, it's the same thing as like if you're going to try and say start up a business. If you're going to try and start up a business and you need to borrow some money, right? You better go to that bank with a business proposal. You sat down and you didn't just scrap it on a piece of paper or a back of a napkin. You sat down and you planned it out. You put your homework into it. You worked on it. So what you want to happen, How do I have a better chance of it happening? That you put your big boy pants on, you put your big girl pants on, and you do it. Which is, if you want something to happen, like, how are we going to build this house? You better have plans that somebody sat down and measured everything to the very square millimeter and accounted. The Bible says, as a man does not build a house that without accounting the cost. I think it's going to cost me this much. You get into it, and it's like going to be double that, and like now you have to give up because you didn't have the money for it, right? And you didn't buy enough of supplies and all this other stuff. These are analogies to say that what you plan for is what you will get. Now, sometimes as things are happening, things change, and that's when you're able to adapt the plan. But again, it's as simple as what you put your time in. How do you put your time in it? Again, if you want to be serious about it, I've been telling this to people too, like, especially when people are at home right now and have gone to where they worked in an office, and then now they're working at home. There's all these analogies in terms of one of my favorite things is figuring out how you work. Okay, there's many writers that they work at home, or writers that go into an office, right? Well, I think Stephen King is one of the examples, and there's a number of writers, a very prolific writer, but he learned early on that when he was working, let's say if you were working at like a newspaper and you had a deadline and you had time and you clocked in, you clocked out, and you showed up there in your uniform, you wore your suit and your tie and whatever. Let's say you're a teacher, you're a professor. You go in and you wear those clothes and, you do those things, those different behaviors. Well, let's say you decide, well, I can do this from home, and I'm going to do it in my pajamas. For some people, doing it in their pajamas, they're lazy. They don't take it serious. I'll snack or watch a little Netflix or something like that. If they catch you watching Netflix at the office, you're going to get in trouble. So you don't do that. So what some people, like I said, the writers have figured out is there are many writers who go, you know what? I'm in my bedroom and my office is right over there across the hall. But the days when I tried to start writing in my pajamas, I didn't get anything written. So what do? I get dressed, and that means whatever works for you. If being serious means you put on a suit and tie to go work, if for a woman means doing your hair and putting your makeup on, even though no one's going to see you, if it makes a difference in terms of then your psyche goes, well, this is serious. Yeah, then I'm really going to, and for some people, it's like they even create a clock and you write it down and you make yourself accountable. And if that's what it takes for you to get it done and for you to take it serious and not be lazy about it and not, not be functional about it, then you have to learn that about yourself. Now, there's other people where they actually function better not being in that uniform. That thing was reducing their ability to be serious, or being too serious actually reduced their functionality. They were not as efficient. They didn't get as much work done. I know a number of people that said, thank God I don't have to put that makeup on. I really get a lot more done, and it works, and I feel better. I don't feel as stressed. So it can work either way, but the thing is you need to figure it out for yourself. That's why, when I have people come to see me and we test you for these different supplements and diets and all this other stuff, I create a program for you that I email to you or we print out, and it's something that you have. It's your recipe. This is, okay, at this time I do this, at this time I do this, and it has a time frame on it, and it has from as soon as you wake up until, right before you go to bed, and everything in between. And then we'll also have a section for notes, which is, okay, go watch this. Read this, go research this. I'll give you homework to do. And many people, when they've tried to do health things, if they don't have that, they don't stick with it. And they don't, I took a little bit of this, and did you take it today? I don't remember if I did or not. So having a program, having something that is essentially like a recipe or a manual to follow, and something that you can, if you have to, put your check marks on it and go done, done, done. The kids that get the gold stars. Are you that one? And if that's, again, if your psyche or your mind or your body, because again, when you are sick or you're not healthy, much of it has to do with certain things like infections. And that would be, let's say you have virus inside you, you have parasites, you have bacteria, you have yeast inside you. They don't want you to get healthy. And when you start getting healthy, what they will do is they will secrete enzymes and things like that to basically twist your arm behind your back and make you cry uncle. And when you don't have a plan, you will fall by that, because it will be like, oh, it hurts, and oh, I've got a headache. And sometimes, yes, when you're starting to do, let's say, a keto diet, which is low in carbohydrates, you can get in the beginning what seems like what's called a keto flu, which is you get headaches, you get stuff like that. And for some people, it's okay, back off, don't do that. But for many people, when you're starting to do that, push through that, ignore that headache. Maybe that's the day that you take off and you stay home and you stay in bed or in a dark room or whatever. Try and avoid taking a bunch of like pills to make pain go away. Just take care of yourself until it passes, because it's a sign of these things kind of working up inside your body. And once you've starved the yeast of the sugar. So how do you know you have yeast? Many people, when they eat something that they bloat up. And again, what do they eat that bloats up? They eat the pasta, they eat the potatoes, they eat the cakes, the cookies, and then they bloat up. Well, why? Because you are full of these yeasts, and they're feeding on the sugar, and they are creating carbon dioxide and alcohol, as well as now your body is sending the immune system to attack that, to put that fire out. And so you swell up, not only from them blowing up, but you're also swelling up because your body is going, emergency. And it's like flooding with a whole bunch of, fire engines and all kinds of other stuff. That's the swelling. And then once you've digested it, once they've eaten up all this sugar, then it goes down. Many people where, at the end of the day, they're all bloated, and then they go to sleep, and then they wake up in the morning, and it's as if why they've been fasting, because you fast while you sleep, unless, someone's sneaking food to you in the middle of the night. You're not eating. And so you live off of that. And then many people, how do you know that you have a candida problem? Is you wake up in the morning and you're skinny, or, your belly is down. And until you start eating, it stays down. That's a real good indicator that you have, a candida problem. Now, going back to what that is if you starve them out enough and you don't feed them, let's say the sugar, or let's say we have some viruses and we go on a high lysine diet, what's called the antiviral diet, over a period of time, then those bad feelings go away, and then you feel much, much better. But many times part of our health is, especially if you're toxic, and if you're unhealthy, you're toxic. And so the very first phases of detoxifying you is it's not going to feel good, and you have to push through. But what helps pushing through is having a plan, having something that is that you've participated, you did yourself through your own, or had someone made for you, but it's something that is, okay, just stick with this, don't drop this and stop doing it. Keep up with it, okay? This is Jason Eagle, your Natural Health Authority. My office, if you want to call my office to get an appointment and talk to me and help you figure this out, my number is 734-985-5891. That's 734-985-5891. If you want my number too, you can always go to the website of the radio station, and they'll give you my information, and they'll put you in contact with me. Today's show took a little while to get this. This was the preamble, but now we are into the thing, and that is cold is here. Have you noticed it? It's cold. It's starting to feel like winter is setting in. It's going to get cold, and it's going to happen, and we're going to go through these same cycles over and over and over again. Now, I am a healthcare practitioner, and I've been going through this. I just turned 51, but I have been in this practice for 26 years. So not only my own body, but I've seen other people's bodies, and I've seen these patterns. And let me tell you, one of the things, people get the colds, they get the flus, they get these types of things. Hold on one second. Let me tell you one of the prime culprits, and it's been staring you in front of your face, and we didn't know it, which is, okay, during the winter time, or I'm sorry, during the summertime, we have air conditioning, or, if it's a day where it's not too hot, especially in Michigan, you don't have the air conditioning. You have the windows open and you get fresh air and all this other stuff, okay? Well, your heater has been sitting there and it's been getting dusty and it's been building up a bunch of stuff, okay? So when the heater first turns on, it starts to put all this dust inside there. And most of the dust that is in a person's home is actually their own dead skin cells. Most of it is and that starts to feed a bunch of bacteria and other things, yeast and molds and molds in particular. And so when the heater first turns on, you're breathing a moldy sock, right? So one of the tricks is before it starts to get cold, turn your heater on, right? But open all the windows up. And so for now would be a good time and people go, I'm wasting energy. No, you're cleaning the house out, like the spring cleaning. You're purging the crap out of there, right? So that's a good idea is to get, now, then the heat turns on and we're going from not being in a heated environment to being in a heated environment where you have your furnace turns on, or let's say you have a wood stove or whatever. What happens? You get dehydrated. Basically, you've been put into a dehydrator and it starts pulling water out of you, okay? Water inside your body, if you don't start adding water. So here's the short circuit, okay? I've learned. Before we really get into the heat of the winter where your heat is turned on in your house or where the heat is turned on in your car, which is dehydrating you even more so. You get the chapped lips and all this other stuff. Start drinking water right now. You can head it off at the pass. Now, let me tell you how dehydration usually affects most colds, okay? So most colds and stuff that you get, what happens is most people are not mouth breathers, meaning you're breathing through your nose. Well, your nose passages, when it starts breathing dehydrated air, your nasal passages are lined with this stuff called mucosal membrane. You have mucus that secretes out of there. So like you got the boogers, like the mucus, which is like a slick that's on top of it. But then below that, you have the mucosal membranes. That's the inside of your mouth, the inside of your nose, your eyes, the inside of your eyelids. That's the mucosal membranes. Your genitals, those are mucosal membranes, right? Well, those are a barrier, especially your nose. The mucosal membranes in your nose is a barrier. Now, when you get dried out and it becomes cracked, what happens is, and there can be micro cracks that you don't even know that, which means instead of the bacteria or the virus going on to that mucosal membrane and then being killed before it gets into your bloodstream, these cracks that can form very quickly, just a couple days of being in the heat, that after not being in the heat, you get dehydrated very quickly, especially if you do not add more water. You didn't think about it. So a lot of people, what are they getting sick from? They're getting sick from the fact that their barriers have broken and things that are always been there are able to get in there. So start drinking more water now. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about water. Okay, there's lots of different types of water. There's distilled water, and there is a time for distilled water. There's spring water, and there's a time for spring water. There's filtered water, which is, let's say you have a water filter or a Brita filter. Let's say you have, city water. But yes, Neti Pot. I'm going to get to that very soon. I'm Keith Ward here. You're watching me on my Facebook. Yes, I will get. That's part of this. Yes, you're good thinking. You're right on top of it. Filtered water, would be a Brita filter, a Berkey filter, where you're taking city water and you're filtering out all the toxins, because city water is bad. A lot of city water has a lot of chlorine in it. When you put the bath, you can smell it, right? Chlorine's bad for it. It's got formaldehyde. It's got, all kinds of bad stuff. All the way to, let's say you have a built-in system where it's like an RO filter, right? That's good. And then we also get another type of water, which is the fizzy water, the mineral water, like the Pellegrino or the Perrier or something like that. There is a time for all of these things. So let's go into this. Distilled water. Who should drink distilled water? If you got kidney stones, I have on my YouTube channel, there's a actual video that's on how to dissolve kidney stones. And it talks about all the different things, including distilled water. And then there's this russet potato juice that you can make. Watch that video if you tend towards some kidney problems. But drinking distilled water, since distilled water has no minerals in it, it's very mineral hungry. Now, there's a lot of people that say, don't drink distilled water. It will rob the minerals from your bones. Yes, it will. But if you have what's called deposition, that means kidney stones, gallstones, cataracts, joints that have excess calcium and stuff like that in it. What you do is you drink so if we tend, like even congestive heart failure or atherosclerosis, this type of thing, because there's calcium that starts to fill up that. So if we drink a water that wants calcium and wants minerals, it will go into the water and then it will be peed out, right? And so it will be grabbed onto the water and then you will get rid of it. So distilled water will help to clean your kidneys out. But if you don't have that problem, then you should be drinking spring water. Ideally, you should live in a place where you have your own well water like we do, which is forget the city water, get your own well water. But if you have to go buy water, go buy the spring water. And then filtered water, again, if you have city water and you want to put like an on-the-counter Brita filter and clean that stuff up, or have an under-counter, water system or something like that. And then fizzy water, too. If people do have kidney stones or something, don't drink the fizzy water. Don't drink, because that will there's way more minerals in that. But if you're a healthy person, from time to time, it's actually very healthy to drink the fizzy water. The one from Italy is really good. There's one from Poland, Grolsteiner. I'm not saying it right. My German friends will correct me. That one's really good. And then there's this Polish one. I can't think of the name of it. That one has really lots of minerals in it. Okay, now there's some add-ins that you should put into your water. You should put in salt into your water every once in a while. Sea salt. Put a pinch of sea salt. They also make this product called pH minerals. It's this liquid drops, and it's all of the minerals that come from seawater, but it's been desalinated and everything like that. So it's these concentrated minerals that you can literally put into a big jug of water, or you can put in that Brita filter, or in a glass of water. Children, now this is not necessarily in water, but I do have this added. Children need more minerals, and here's a great way you can add the pH minerals for the children to drink, but here's another great way to add minerals to children. Premier Research Labs makes these capsules called Fermented Greens. What you can do is you can open the capsules and put that into some apples. So we're talking little kids, really little kids, all the way up to your kids that go to school, right? You can put it in some yogurt, right? So teach them, open up the yogurt and put a couple capsules in there and mix it in, and it makes a really cool color green. You think that they're going to be, ew, gross. It doesn't have a flavor at all. When you mix it with applesauce or mix it with some yogurt or something like that, mix it into their food. But those ones in particular, they can't tell the difference, and they're cool. Turn it into an experiment. You want to turn this green? Well, this is kind of cool. But 2 capsules of the fermented greens for a little kid is a powerhouse of very good assimilatable minerals that in a whole plant form that really helps. Now, yes, let me go to what Keith was talking about, which is when you get dehydrated in your nose, one of the great things to use is what's called this nasal spray that's called Xylir. And they also make these little capsules, these little bags or little pouches that you can put in the water for the Neti Pot. A Neti Pot is this little clay pot that you stick up one nostril, you tip it over, and then the water comes out the other side. And typically you'll do just water, or you can also do salt water, a little bit of salt water. They make these packets that go with it. But then the xylitol is one of those 8 healing sugars, and it is known to feed the mucosal membranes, rebuild the mucosal membranes. Xylir, which is this nasal spray, which is just like, water, like a purified water, and xylitol, you put a couple squirts up each nostril. So start doing it right now. If you have a tendency to get a lot of nasal problems, stuffed up or runny nose or, these types of things, I recommend that in the beginning, start doing it right now before the heat turns on. And also the other time is, around the summertime, springtime, if you tend towards having the allergies, the seasonal allergies, like the pollen and stuff like that. Problem is most people treat a problem when they're right in it, and it's too late. So if you can learn the pattern, so that's why today I'm doing this. The winter's not here yet. It hasn't really kicked in yet. But if you can start doing these things, you will head it off at the pass. So what we're talking about now is definitely drink more water. I've noticed a ton of problems that happen in people when they get dehydrated. And most people are dehydrated all times a year, but the worst time of year is when the heat kicks on for that first month. You turn into a prune, and when your body turns into a prune, it gets very unhealthy. And in particular, like I said, your nasal mucosal membranes, the air that you're breathing through your nose, it has carte blanche. It gets right into your bloodstream. Okay. And then again, sometimes too, you can even put some oil on the inside here, an olive oil, a coconut oil, or like grandma used to do is like stick some Vaseline on your finger and, stick it up inside your nose. That will help to recoat that area and will rebuild it. But I really like the Neti Pot, as well as with the xylitol and the Xyler nasal spray. This is Jason Eagle, your natural health authority. I'm going to take a commercial break and I'll be right back.
If we've learned anything from the recent medical crisis, it's how extremely important it is to maintain our good health. Diabetes, asthma, pain, and other underlying conditions weaken our ability to stave off viruses and heal even minor scrapes and cuts. This is why it is so vital to heal, not just treat, chronic health issues. It is possible to overcome underlying health issues and return to a strong and healthy state, and it can be done naturally without the inevitable side effects of medication. But first, you must make that choice to be healthy. Your next step is to contact Jason Eagle of Strategic Healing Center at 734-985-5891. Jason will get to the heart of what is really causing your underlying health issues. Then he'll create a customized plan that will get you back to your natural, healthy self. Get on the path to better health. Call 734-985-5891 to make your appointment with Jason Eagle of Strategic Healing. Or go online to wrdt560.com/askingtheexperts and click on Strategic Healing. And tune into AM 560 WRDT every Wednesday afternoon at 1 for healthy living advice from Jason Eagle on Ask the Experts.
Okay. All right, everybody. We're back. This is Jason Eagle, your natural health authority. My office number is 734-985-5891. I'm on my Strategic Healing Facebook page right now, and later you can check me out also on my YouTube channel. That's Jason Eagle QRA. Before I forget, I had this in red and I forgot to say it. Okay, wash your masks. Wash your masks. If you wear masks, wash your masks, because most people are getting sick from rebreathing their masks. If you wear a mask, literally, we're coming up to this time where it's going to get worse in terms of people rebreathing again, especially if you've been dehydrated. And I'm not talking about there's more virus out there. In fact, there's way less virus. If we really understand what has happened in this past 3 months, we have sanitized this whole planet. This planet, like never before, is literally, there's less viruses out there. They've died out. There's a bunch of stuff that, in general, that's what the doctors have always said. If you could just stay away from each other for 3 months, you'd kick it out and so much would be better. Well, we've done that and we're still doing that. So, but here's where people are getting sick from, is these dirty masks. Okay, if I was a mask wearer and I would wear it, in and out of different places, how many masks would I wear on a daily basis? At least 3 masks. Have a fresh, clean one. And then don't wear a dirty one. And how long should you wear it for? Only a couple hours maximum. And then change it out and put a new one, because excuse me, you are rebreathing junk in there, and you're pulling stuff into it, and you're touching it all the time. I know you try not to, but you do. And so dirty masks are going to make more people sick than the actual flu this year. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Is really, for the help that it's done, it's also can cause a bunch of problems. So get around that by keeping a clean mask all the time, right? Now we're getting into, again, this is a show on today, is cold is here and it's getting ready to be winter. Start it now, Okay, we talked about drinking more water. I'm going to harp on that again. Start drinking more water right now before you get dehydrated. A good morning tonic to do, which is this is another way to actually, before you have your coffee or something like that, and in place of coffee, a great morning tonic is get your hot water as if you're going to make like tea, okay? And into that, you're going to squeeze about a half a lemon, or you could use apple cider vinegar, and you use maybe 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And this is like a big mug of water. Okay, then you're going to use a pinch of cayenne pepper. If you don't like hot, then just use the pinches of a pinch, right? But you can go up to, let's say, a quarter teaspoon if you're a person that can stand a hot mouth. Cayenne pepper is really good in terms of for the nasal type of stuff, and again, cayenne pepper will make your nose run, which is that will clean stuff out. And then it will actually open your breathing up. Cayenne pepper increases blood flow. It increases blood flow into your heart, into your gut, but your heart too. It makes sure all of your blood flow, which gives you more oxygen to everything in your cells. Maple syrup, you can add to that just a little bit of maple syrup. Yes, it's a sweetener. Some people say, well, what about honey? Honey's good too, but I prefer maple syrup on this level because maple syrup, that's tree juice. That is tree water. And these trees, especially maples and oaks and stuff like that, their roots go deep and they grab minerals and they put minerals into their sap. And when you then take all the water out and concentrate the sugar, that's what maple syrup is just cooking that down until it's just mostly sugar, but it also has lots of minerals. And then a little bit of salt, maybe about a quarter teaspoon. So lemon or apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, maple syrup, and salt. And that into a big mug and sip that in the morning time. It'll warm you up. It'll feel great, but it'll also prepare the apples or the lemon, and the apple cider vinegar is high in vitamin C. That will give a good vitamin C kick. It will get your liver working. It will get your gallbladder working. It prepares you. Here is the other thing about mucosal membranes, vitamin D. So a lot of people have gotten a lot of sun this summer. This has been a wonderful summer. Let's remember it. Forget about what's been going on out there in the world. The plants don't know that it was COVID. The plants didn't know that it was lockdown. The animals, for them, it was great. It was awesome. What happened in our garden this year, it's been the best growing season ever. And the sunshine, I got so much good, healthy sun. Like last year, it felt like the sun was burning. This year, it felt great. And so that helps to build vitamin D in your body. Now, vitamin D builds your bones, but one of the most important thing that vitamin D does is it maintains the mucosal membrane. So one of the best protection against a flu or a cold is having good levels of vitamin D. So since the sun is going away, the sun's going to go bye-bye, and especially if you tend to be a more melanated person, if you have darker skin, if you're a African American, if you are Indian, if you are Latino, if you tend to have darker skin, you need vitamin D more so than anybody else, because when your vitamin D levels go low, which it will in northern climates like this, you're at a greater risk of cardiovascular disease as well as all this other stuff. And it's just because of these mucosal membranes. So start taking your vitamin D right now. We sell a pill. It's a vitamin D. One little capsule is 5,000 milligrams plus K2. And I would recommend that people start boning up and basically taking anywhere between 5,000 to 15,000 IUs. So if I were going to do 15,000, like again, if you've gotten your vitamin D tested and you're like 30 or something like that, or 20, that's super low. And you're going to be at high risk for catching the colds and all this other stuff. So I would take one capsule of the vitamin D, and then they also have a liquid form that doesn't have the K2, because I don't want you to take extra K2. I would want you to take extra vitamin D. So that would be one capsule of the vitamin D3, which you can take in the morning, and then let's say a half dropper full of the vitamin D3 drops, and that will give you like about 15,000. Again, if you're very low, people go, oh, that's a lot. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. Again, you're not going to fill that hole up unless you really give it a full load. Vitamin C is super important. We make a great vitamin C capsule, which doesn't have any sugar in it. One of the problems of doing a lot of citrus, like oranges and stuff like that, they have a lot of sugar. So yes, you drink orange juice, you're going to get vitamin C, but there's a lot of sugar in that. There's this other great recipe of boiled sliced lemons, which you can actually just drink the water. So what you do is you take about 3 lemons and you slice them and you put them in, like, say, a pot on your stove, like a pasta pot. And into that you put about a gallon of water. And then you turn the heat on and you let it come to a boil. And then you let it boil there for about 5 to 10 minutes, about 10 minutes. Then you turn it off, and then you strain the lemon pieces out. So like you're just cutting lemon slices, like 3 lemon slices that you cut up whole with the skin on and everything like that. Because most of the polyphenols, most of the really good stuff is actually in the peel, the stuff that we throw away. And then you can take that water and pour it into a jug and stick that in your refrigerator, and that's the water that you drink. It tastes awesome, but it's full of vitamin C and all of these great polyphenols. These are one of these... lemon water, apple cider vinegar water, and lemons in particular are one of these weight loss secrets. They are literally, if you drink more of that water, it will be much easier for you to actually lose weight and actually maintain a healthy weight, because it increases what's called thermogenesis. And it also decreases appetite. So it makes you feel, but it's giving you vitamin C. Zinc. Zinc is super, super important. Again, if you're a person that tends towards getting cold sores, that's a herpes virus, okay? It's a virus, which is similar to what we're dealing with right now. So zinc, if people are really scared about this virus out there, start bumping up the zinc. There's this great, my YouTube channel, you can see that I've done what's called the Zinc Challenge and 2 other people. Mine is the funniest because my zinc levels are good, and you can see how horrible, people laugh about it because it's funny, because I couldn't help it. I made just like, oh, it's gross. But you see the other people, they're like, it's like water. Tastes like, that means you need it. If it just tastes like water, that means you're very low in zinc. And keep drinking it, and it's 2 capfuls a day. And then as it starts tasting like you sucked on a nickel, and then it eventually starts to taste like a bad nickel, then you know that your zinc levels are up. This is some of the most important stuff that we can do right now to kind of prepare. And don't do it when it's too late. Start doing it right now before it starts kicking in. Drink your water, get your vitamin C, get your vitamin D, all this other stuff. Now, I'm also going to talk about medicine cabinet ideas. You always should have something in your medicine cabinet. Hold on. Again, I'm noticing I'm dehydrated. The heat just kicked on, and I can feel my lips are chapped already. Start drinking it right now. Medicine cabinet stuff, okay? I talked about this last year, and I've done it myself, and God, it works amazing. Which is, if you start feeling punky, you start feeling like you're going to get something, there's this product that's called Fermented Mushrooms. It's a powder, and you can literally brew a cup of water, hot water, and normally a normal dosage is there's a little scooper that comes in it, and usually 1 scoop of the fermented mushrooms is great for your immune system. What you do is probably put 6 scoops. You can use even a third of the whole container all at once and put it in a thing of hot water and drink it down, as fast as you can. I mean, I don't mean gulp it down, but I mean in a sitting, about 5 minutes it should be gone. And within an hour, you will start to feel like you've got, now the secret is getting on it soon. Because if you go, I'm starting to feel a little bit weird, this is how I feel when I start to get a flu. If you wait another couple hours, it's a little bit too late. Now, here's something that you can do if it does get a little bit too late, which is if it starts to get there. If you can't get home in time, and by the time you get home, you're really starting to feel it, do your fermented mushrooms, and then there's another trick to do. Start buying it right now. Go get it. You can go to the health food store and you can get powdered ginger. Or you can even go to the spice rack and you can buy a thing of powdered ginger. But you're going to need a couple of them, because here's what you do. Is you fill up the bathtub water, hot water, about as hot as you can stand it. And into that, you're going to put about a handful. If you see your hand, if you kind of, make a hand like this, and it would be a mound, basically a handful of dried ginger. And then at the same time, brew yourself a cup of tea where you would use the tea bag's worth of, let's say, ginger. And then what you do is, as soon as it's finished, you get into that bathtub with the ginger in it and you drink a cup of ginger tea. what will start to happen is you will sweat. You want to make this so hot. Don't burn yourself, but I've done it where it's like hot and I literally have to get and sit on the side of the tub and then get back in, and then sit on the side of the tub and then get back in. You will start sweating profusely. So get in there, drink that cup of tea, get in that hot water with the tea, with the ginger in it. Maybe about 20 minutes maximum, even if you want to do that. But about 20 minutes is about the maximum. And then get in bed. Wrap up, get in your bathrobe, and get under the covers and sweat it out. And then have some tea there that you can keep drinking tea. Sweat it out, right? And usually that will kick it out because, see, you're raising your body temperature, and the tea that goes inside your body, actually, ginger increases that. It makes you hot. You can add a little cayenne pepper to that too, and that will heat. So when we have a fever, your body, it triggers the actual heat process. Sauna will do this too, which is if you raise your body temperature enough, it triggers your body to release your immune system. It's the heat that triggers it that will then start releasing these IgGs, the IgAs, these things, these infection-fighting stuff. So usually these things don't come until after you've already gotten sick from it, right? And by that time, it's a little bit too late, and then you're going to be sick for a couple days. But if you do these things, which is this bathtub with the ginger, drink the ginger tea, take the fermented mushrooms, you can also add another thing, which is, now this is stuff after you've gotten sick, you can do this as well too, which is, let's say you've gotten sick. Colostrum. Colostrum, this is a cow colostrum. Colostrum is the very first milk that comes out of a mammal. So humans produce, the most important time to breastfeed a baby is that first day to week, because that's the milk that comes out as colostrum, which is, it is the immune system. If you've heard before that once your body gets sick from something, gets infected by a virus or bacteria, it builds this immune system. There's two parts of your immune system. There's the B cells and then there's the T cells, right? The B cells kill the virus or bacteria, whatever, directly. That's a direct killing, and that's what little kids have. That's why kids, you should not really be worried about kids going to school. Kids have strong immune systems. And let me just remind you that on the CDC numbers, and I'm going back off of when it was 153,000 plus people in the United States that died of COVID, with COVID. That's of COVID and with COVID. That's the total numbers. So when the total numbers were 153,000, the age group of 0 to 24 was 300 and something. Only 300 out of 150,000. And that's not little kids. That's including up to the age of 24. So that means, do you really need to be worried about these kids? You don't, because the kids, when they're strong, people go, one is enough. Yeah, but not really, because again, within those numbers, there's special circumstances. Some of them, a fair amount of them really had a bunch of other things going on, right? And it wasn't just that. But even total, out of 153,000, only 300 and some. That's such a small number that you really don't need to worry about it. It'd be healthier for them to just be together and be school. Okay, but we produce these immune cells, right? And one of the immune cells is the IgG, IgA, all this other stuff. Well, that's what colostrum is. And so instead of waiting for your body to react to it, to produce it, you take it now, and it goes into your system, and your body doesn't even have to produce that. It's a pill that you can take. And so colostrum is a great thing to have. You can take it even when you're not sick. You can take it to keep you from always having a level of these IgG and IgA and all this other stuff in your system, so that it's scavenging through your system, and if anything is there, it will take care of it. Another great thing that you can take to prepare yourself if you do get sick, let's say you hurt yourself. Let's say you tear a muscle. Let's say you just got, you cut yourself and you had to have stitches. You broke a bone. You got a bad bruise. This product called Nucleoimmune. Nucleotides are what the DNA is made out of. And nucleoimmune is you are taking this as a pill form, a capsule form, straight nucleotides, which means it's the building block for building new cells. And that's what your immune system is made out of. That's what your cells are made out of. So nucleoimmune is a great thing. Garlic, we've always heard about garlic. So alicidin, this is another thing that you go in your medicine cabinet. Alicidin, you can take it even when you're not sick, but when you're getting sick, The garlic will kick it out. It has a broad spectrum immunity type of thing. Olive leaf is another thing that is broad spectrum, especially really good for viruses. The Immunoven and olive leaf are really good for viruses. If we tend towards having lung problems, Pneumoven, that's to keep your lungs clean. Always remember, if you've got mucus in your lungs, if you're coughing crap up and it gets stuck in your lungs and you're wheezing, it's not really in your lungs, it's in your colon, meaning you're holding on to a lot of poop. So how do I clean my lungs out? First, clean your bowels out. So if you got people, especially kids, little kids that are getting a lot of like that raspy type of cough, give them an enema, give them the smooth move tea, take a laxative, that type of thing. Clean your colon out. And 9 times out of 10, when you got lung problems, you clean the colon out, it will go away. If you got a plugged nose, if your nose is all plugged up and it's just it's stuffed up and you can't even blow it, take this stuff called NAC, N-acetylcysteine. It will get your nose to flow. It will get it to start flowing like a faucet turned on, and then it will clean it out, and then you'll get over it. So rather than be having a stuffed nose for a month or week that you got to use this bad nasal spray, kick it out with the NAC. That's a great thing to do. Now, we're going to get into, okay, we've gone through the morning. These are the things that we would have done in the morning. Now, this is like daytime. What can I do to get ready for the winter time? Keep your blood sugar in check. What's the best way to keep your blood sugar in check? Because it's really, most of these conditions are inflammatory conditions, and most of these things, including the bug type of stuff that's going on, is fed by high sugar. So get your sugar down low, which means the best way to eat, especially during the daytime, is keto. The ketogenic, which is high protein, high fat, low carbohydrates, gives you the optimal in anti-inflammatory, meaning you want to keep your inflammatory markers low. Sugar feeds inflammation. Bring the sugar down. Also, when you have high levels of fat, so more of the good fats. So if you were able to, and if you don't eat enough of the good fats, that would be avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, these type of things, then take some DHA. You can take them as a capsule, or you can take a liquid EPA. That's a great way to get your fats up there. So the best thing that you can do to make sure that you're strong and healthy and also not feeding it sugar is the keto diet and high fat, okay? Now, if we tend towards morning sore joints, especially when it's cold in the wintertime, and it's like, oh, my joints, I wake up and my joints hurt so much. Phytozymes, start taking the phytozymes. You take those on an empty stomach. You take them as soon as you wake up and then about like 3 hours after a meal. Take it 3 times a day. Phytozymes works like prednisone. It works like a steroid. It works like a cortisone shot. But better, because it doesn't destroy anything. Because what it does is most of your pain in the joints can be coming from your cartilage is all hard and gnarled up, and it hurts you because it's pulling on your joints. So if you could, when the doctors say, you broke your arm, and I got into that joint and I saw a bunch of arthritis and I cleaned it all up. What did he do? He scraped all that stuff out there. Well, rather than having surgery, could you scrape it out yourself? Yes, the phytozymes actually helps. It's what's called a proteolytic enzyme. And all of these things are made out of protein, including fibrin in your body. That's this webbing that just glues everything together. If you feel like glue, do you feel like glue in the morning? The phytozymes will help to kick that out. And the stronger that you feel during the winter time and the more flexible that you are, the more that you are going to ride this out and not get sick. Magnesium, always, the sore joints could also be because your muscles are so tight. So taking a magnesium, Epsom salt baths. This wintertime, get used to taking more baths. Really heat your body up. I put about 4 pounds of Epsom salt into a bath and I soak for about an hour, okay? Detox, okay? We're always going to want to detox, okay? If we tend towards being sick, or you really want to make sure I'm not going to get sick this winter, okay? Sauna. If you don't, there used to be some sauna places like at the health clubs, but it seems like they're going to keep the saunas closed. If you could get a sauna, you can go on the web and there's cheap saunas that you can get right now. A couple $100 all the way up to maybe about $1,000 for the infrared, the portable infrared saunas. boy, oh boy, sauna is something that the rest of the world knows about, but we don't. Sauna heats your body up. And if you don't have a sauna, now there's an extra thing that you can do to sauna, which is really you can heat your body up. What you can do is what's called, you do a niacin flush, which means you take anywhere between 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams of niacin. And most people, it will give you a flush where it feels like you're starting to sweat. And you do that while you're in the sauna, and you will sweat buckets. Make sure you're drinking your salt water. Make sure you're replacing that. I like to do where I'll get in the hot shower, get my body, turn the sauna on. So we have two saunas. We have a regular one that's a regular traditional type of sauna, which is like a hot stone one, and then we have an infrared sauna. And what I like to do is I like to do heat, cold, heat, cold, heat, cold, and it squeezes my body. So what I'll do if I'm going to use the infrared sauna is turn the sauna on, because it takes a little while to heat up, about 15 minutes to heat up. While it's heating up, I get in the hot shower and I get my body hot. And then, so like be in a hot shower for maybe about good 10 minutes. Then get into the sauna and start sweating. And then get out of the sauna and get into the cold shower and very quickly rinse off in the cold shower and then go back into the sauna, sweat some more, and then come in. Now, when I'm doing the stone shower, I get a bucket of cold water and I just pour it over my body, and I just keep pouring cold water over my body while I'm in. And my sauna, the one that is downstairs, I measured the temperature last year and I got it up to about 190 degrees, right? Almost 200 degrees inside. That means I'm in an oven, man. I'm cooking my body. Again, we talked about the ginseng bath tea, Epsom salt baths. Here's another thing that you can do for detox is doing the mud packs on your downloads. That's on your hands and feet. You can come into the office, I can do it for you, or I can sell you the products and give you instructions on how to do it. A great thing to do, especially since during the wintertime we can't walk outside that much, especially get grounded, is you can ground on the inside and you can open up your detox pathways. Like those foot bath type of things, this works even better than the foot bath. Now let's get into, this is through the day. This is what we did in the morning. Now we're getting ready to sleep. Sleep is probably the best thing that you could do to give yourself the good immune system and in fact, prepare you for not being sick, especially in this wintertime. Sleeping, okay? Cold, dark room. That's the best thing, but with good, heavy blankets. So heavy blankets, there's some real science in this, and they actually make these weighted blankets. So people that are able to sleep in a colder room, meaning maybe even crack the window up, don't make the room so hot. When it's hot, you don't sleep as well. But if you are, for instance, where the room's a little bit colder and dark, get some blackout curtains, get the TV out of the room, and then you're underneath heavy blankets, they've tested this. You're going to sleep better. You're going to get a better night's sleep. Here's some other things, which is Tranquinol. Taking these pills just before you go to bed, it helps you to sleep. Melatonin. Now, even people say, I don't need to take melatonin. Everyone should take melatonin because, as I talked a little bit later, my time's running out, but I'm going to keep going here, is melatonin is the thing that produces during nighttime. But melatonin is what converts into serotonin during the daytime, that's the happy. So a lot of times the grumpy people is because they didn't sleep very well. And angry, grumpy, stressful people or depressed people. Depression can just be a level of I don't have enough serotonin. Well, if you didn't seed it the night before because of your melatonin, coming from good sleep. So melatonin is a great thing to take. There's the enzymes, or not enzymes, amino acid, tryptophan. That's the one that's in turkey. Or hot milk. Back in the day, they boil some hot milk and drink some hot milk. You increase the tryptophan, but you can also take it as a supplement. That helps you to sleep really well. The sleepy time tea for some people is just a cup of sleepy time tea. I also recommend smooth move tea and galactin or the cleansman, some fiber at nighttime. Because what happens next? What are you really preparing for sleep? You're preparing for a good poop in the morning. You want to wake up and have a good poop. So that means that you prepare your guts while you're sleeping so that you sleep well Another thing to prepare your guts is the apple cider vinegar. They come in a capsule form. If you take 4 apple cider vinegar, especially if you ate late at night, because that food is sitting on your guts and it can really be a stress on your body. A lot of heart conditions are related to people overeating at nighttime, and it's a stress on their body. The apple cider vinegar, 4 of them that you take right before you go to bed, boy, it really helps to wake up and you feel like you got a flat belly in the morning, and it keeps that whole guts acidic, and it really gives you a good night's sleep. Because a lot of times people that have bad dreams is because there's just bad stuff that's sitting on their guts. One more thing about sleep, which is sometimes it's good to get busy. If you get your husband, your wife having healthy libido, having good sex, having a good sex life is probably the best de-stressor and best thing. But sometimes people are having difficulty with that. So there's these products. One is called Testosterone Premium for men, and then there's another one called Radiant Woman. There are these supplements that help to increase your libido, but naturally. We're not talking about those little blue pills. We're not talking about any of those drugs. Those can be harmful. Those things that, give you an erection, but it won't go away. That's bad on your heart. These ones are not bad on your heart. And so this will, if you're looking to support that libido and being able to, occasionally go, listen, we had some really good sex last night. My husband, my wife, that's going to be great for your life. I talk about real stuff, and, that's part of it. So part of a good sleep is sometimes you had a good night, okay? Now we get into morning, okay? Now we're back into the morning again, which is, what is the best thing that should happen in the morning? You should get up like a baby gets up going, I got to go poo. So again, if you drank that smooth move tea and took your galactin, then you are most likely going to wake up even before you have your coffee as, I got to go poo. Now, if you got to have some coffee or that morning tonic, that will get your bowels going. So a good bowel movement is a good thing to happen as early as possible, first thing in the morning. Dry brush, okay? Basically what you do, I would recommend this, is there's 2 things. Get up, have a good bowel movement, and then do some exercise on a empty stomach. That would be the morning calisthenics. That would be the morning run. I like another thing called the vibro board. Let's say you're a person who's heavy and it's just too hard for you to work out. For a couple $100, you can go online and buy these things called a vibro board, and you stand on it and it makes your whole body vibrate. And that is an exercise, and that will increase your blood flow and all this other stuff. Then after your exercise, you do a dry brush. You can go to the health food store, and it's like the loofah type of thing, but it's a dry brush. And you brush your skin. You're brushing your body. And you start from your feet, and you go up towards your heart, and then you go to your hands and arms, and you're brushing all towards your heart. And then you get in the shower. Some people will do the loofah in the shower. I prefer the dry brush because it increases the lymphatic flow. Now, this is the last part, which is stress. During the daytime, during the nighttime, we are dealing with stress. And again, what is really going on? This is this COVID thing. If you don't think you're under stress, you are kidding yourself. And how much of these fights that you're having with family members is not about the politics. It's all the COVID stress. We are all under COVID stress. The whole world is, but especially here in America, especially here in Michigan. Because there's some stuff that's going on here that, it's all COVID. So we all have a good excuse of being under stress. The Tranquinol, as I told you can take that just before you go to sleep, but you can also take it during the day, and it kind of works like a Xanax type of thing. It doesn't make you drowsy, so you can take 1 or 2. As I said, my wife, before her dental, she hates the dentist. She'll take like 6, 7 of them right before she gets in the chair, and she's able to be there without me holding her hand. Right? She would prefer me holding her hand, but like even her orthodontist says only one person at a time. So she better take her Tranquinol. Let me get into this. These amino acids: tyrosine, phenylalanine, selenomethylthionine, glutathione, melatonin, taurine, the hemp extract. If we tend towards cardiac panic attacks, that's the blood flow, that's the fermented beets and the deltanol. The hemp extract, you're not going to get high from it, but it helps to increase your immune function and decrease the pain. Getting back to this is the very last minute about stress. I've had such great results with myself and other people with these amino acids. Many times when we're under this stress, we don't have enough of these amino acids, and you're going to have to take them in a supplement form because there's no way you're going to be able to eat enough of it. The tyrosine, I've noticed a huge thing. The selenomethylthionine, huge thing. This can replace a lot of the anti-anxiety medications for people. And there's a lot of clinical evidence of this. Instead of going the medical way, you can go the natural way. And what's found in these amino acids is like a miracle. If you want help, I can help you. If you got questions on this, my name is Jason Eagle, your Natural Health Authority. My number is 734-985-5891. Give me a call, or you can Facebook me at Strategic Healing, and I'll answer your questions, and I'd love to talk to you and help you. Until next time, this is Jason Eagle, your Natural Health Authority. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Ask the Experts with Jason Eagle of Strategic.
All right, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
High energy, healthier life naturally. As a certified practitioner in multiple healing modalities, Jason creates a finely tuned and highly personalized program just for you that will get you back to living your best life. Get started today by calling 734-985-5891 to make your appointment, or go online to strategichealing.us. Strategic Healing is located at 2545 North Opdyke Road, Suite 106A in Auburn Hills. Ask the Experts with Jason Eagle of Strategic Healing can be heard every Wednesday at 1 p.m. right here on WRDT, the Word Station.
AM 560 is Detroit's Word Station. WRDT Monroe, Detroit, and WRDT HD on WMUZ HD3. Or listen on the World Wide Web at WRDT560.com. The following program has been paid for by Daily Homes. Pastor Rick Warren.
Okay. This is Jason Eagle, your Natural Authority. Thank you for everybody watching. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Tammy. Went to high school with you. It's great to see you people. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And don't forget to share it and share it to other people so that they can join this as well. Thank you, Dave. Bye-bye.